Hey there, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and we're a bunch of home brewers. We like to drink our own beer, and we like to talk about it, and then we like to get your thoughts and comments about these different styles. And tonight, we are drinking Stout, and I don't even know much about the Stout because Mike poured it and said, leave your comments for the camera, so I didn't say anything about it. So, sir,
so let me tell you the story.
What did you brew here? What kind of Stout is this?
All right, so this is a stout. I'm exploring stout. Many weeks ago we talked about our preferences, our opinions on stout and porter.
Yes.
And so most of the time when I brew a stout, I'm making an oatmeal stout.
Yep.
And for me, an oatmeal stout, you know, you're going to have oatmeal in there. You're going to have some crystal malt in there. A big part of balancing all the flavors in an oatmeal stout is, I believe, is the crystal malt character. And for me personally, it's the type of chocolate malt character. So in this brew, what I really wanted to focus on, you brought in that oatmeal stout a while back that you got from a Northern Brewer kit, and it had a tremendous chocolate malt flavor. I mean, it tasted chocolatey, and is really driven by what I assumed at that time to be the 450 Love chocolate malt. Now, if you watch our videos, if you remember back, I'm a big proponent of, I've always been a big proponent of American chocolate malt at 350 Love. So for this beer, I did a couple things, and I'm not going to try to put this in a category yet, per se, a stout category. We can talk about that in a little bit. But so let me just tell you the basic ingredients in this stout is Maris Otter, British Pale Maris Otter.
Yeah.
Munich malt.
Okay.
So it's 10 pounds of British Pale, 3 pounds of Munich malt, and then a pound of Munich at 60 Love.
Yep. So that's just a German caramel malt. Okay.
Yep. And then a pound of English Baird's 450 Love chocolate malt, which is the chocolate malt from Northern Brewer, and then a little bit of Fawcett Pale chocolate malt.
Okay.
So you'll note and then there's actually some oats in here too.
Okay.
Okay, so because that's what I'm used to is the presence of oats in my stout.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
if you said that there wasn't any oats, I'd say sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so the big thing you'll notice right away is that I've included Munich malt, which I don't usually do, and there's no real crystal malt in here. Yeah. We can debate the difference between Munich and crystal caramel malts another time per se, but suffice to say that this doesn't have like a crystal malt character to it. I fermented this with a blend of American Ale Yeast 001 and English Ale Yeast 002.
Okay.
Both of which were from slurries that I revived in a large starter and crashed out, pitched the starter. This beer also has 5 grams of gypsum in it just because I like to get the calcium in there. This beer fermented great. The original gravity was 10.67. My final gravity was actually 10.13, which blew me away.
It's a little warming.
It's dry. So it's definitely dry. I know. There's a warming character to it. We can talk about that warming note too. But everything else, I mean, I hadn't brewed in a while, so it was great to get back on the full system and do this. I also used a fermentation profile here, a mash profile where I mashed in at low, it was like 150, and I let that go for about 45 minutes, and then I start ramping up to mash out. So I'm actually driving through fairly slowly, but consistently through like the different levels of amylase, and I think that's really contributed to a very fermentable wort, which was something that I've had trouble with in the past. We've talked about this before too. So one success with this beer is that going from 10.67 down to 10.13, I am very happy with that because I finally was able to say, on the mash side of things, manipulate my fermentation profile.
Great.
My attenuation.
Yeah.
So tell me what you taste. What do you think? What do you smell?
There's like a smoked meat taste to it, and when you told me Munich, I'm thinking that's where it came from. Just because it's just not in line with, I would say, the dark malt, and even like roasted barley, and your sweet caramel or crystal malts. Like that combination in stouts to me is not there. It's almost like that Munich is bringing a different maltiness to it that is different.
There is a heavy, like melanoidin-like character to this. There's a lot of Maillard type flavor here. It is very rich on that end of the spectrum, almost too much so.
Yep.
I mean, it's not sweet because it's. I mean, by gravity and also by taste, it's dry. I mean, it's pretty dry. But you're right. It's a slap in the face of like super dark malt, not roasted, but just like syrupy malt character, right?
Yeah. There's a roastiness in the aftertaste.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too, is that roastiness tastes a little grainy actually to me.
Yes.
There's actually a grainy quality to it, which is really weird. I've never experienced that in a stout that I've made before.
Is that
but it almost tastes unrefined, like when we did the mega malt thing. That there's a graininess here that shouldn't be there. It should be smoother. And now, just for the record, because I like doing this when I do stouts, I did what's called mash capping, meaning I mashed. Most of the mash was with everything but the roasted malt.
Yep.
In fact, I didn't even have the Cara Munich in the mash. I just had the British Pale and the Munich malt in the mash, and the oats. And then for the last 20 minutes, when I'm ramping up to mash out, I restir constantly, blah blah blah. That's when this stuff goes in. So it goes from a beautiful blonde to a nice dark brown color. Sure. I'm almost wondering if I've just captured some sort of more delicate, unpleasant chocolate malt. The other thing about the chocolate malt character, it's not very chocolatey.
No,
to be honest with you. And I almost wonder to some extent if it's like soup without salt in it, meaning because there isn't that crystal character. Sometimes I think about flavors on my palate like music, and that there's not that high note of the crystal to offset that deeper, bassoon quality of the. No, I'm joking. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying. So it's almost like you need some Crystal 40, Crystal 60, some toffee-like notes to make that chocolate malt taste chocolate.
And it blends in with
the
dark bitterness of it's like cocoa nibs without sugar.
Yeah.
This is what you need. No, I thought after I had like the third sip, I thought if this had just a little bit of that caramel sweetness that is residual from after fermentation, using even like a 60 Love crystal malt. Yeah. This is a different beer. So, I mean, when I did that roasted malt extravaganza thing, my goal there was to, like, experience different malts and see what we could get from that. And I think the conclusion from that was, you know what, you need to actually go the distance, ferment some stuff, and do it. And so when I made this beer, part of that, this beer was already in the planning stages when I did that roasted malt thing. Yep. I think what I really wanted to focus on here was, okay, I really like my oatmeal stout, but I want more chocolate character without adding chocolate to it. Is the switch from my 350 Breeze to my 450 Bears English chocolate, is that the solution that I just had sort of been overlooking all these years? No. And I don't think it is per se. No. But at least here is chocolate malt, fermented out, real, a full mash, whatever. The other thing too that's interesting about this as a stout, right? This is all chocolate malt. There's no roasted barley note here either. Yeah. You might need, I think that might be missing some notes there, which again reinforce the chocolate character. Sure. So I think it's just I've always wanted to maybe brew a recipe, like an oatmeal stout recipe that I have I've been successful with before. But if there's 6 ingredients, brew 6 beers. Each one missing an ingredient. But that's a lot of work. A lot of work. But it would be cool to do that and say, oh, here's the oatmeal stout without any roasted barley. Oh, here it is without chocolate malt. And just see, now you know what it's like to not have a flute in the orchestra. Sure. Right? What you do is you set up 6 nights, 1 gallon batch each. Yeah. And then
I gotta start embracing. I gotta start
Monday,
embracing
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I gotta start embracing the 1 gallon thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is awful. I think there's still some. It's a little bit cloudy. Yeah. Because it only went in the keg like a week and a half ago. There's still stuff that's going to settle out of here, and the flavor's going to get a little cleaner as that happens. I mean, and some of that is really it's grain dust that gets carried over, just really, and yeast character that's holding on to weird flavors. as that settles out, the flavor's going to get a little cleaner. So it'll be interesting to see in another month
Mellows out. Yep.
as it mellows. Because this is still, for a stout, this is, for all my beers, because my beers sit. I'm so slow, but this has been pushed along pretty quick.
Nice.
So I don't think it's a total disaster, but
it's interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, I think
and you've got learnings there.
Yeah, and there's definitely been some learnings.
Nice learnings.
Some learnings.
Good.
So
Good
it's
for
not
you.
totally undrinkable. Like I said, maybe we'll try. You know, I brewed this for the big holiday party right coming up, and we'll see what those non-discerning palates think of it. I'm just going to advertise it as something dark, and you know, I got something dark, something light, something hoppy, and something special is what I'm going to put on the board. Special.
People are like, I want the special.
I want the special.
And then they'll have it, and they'll say,
they'll go, this is sour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it going to be sour?
It's going to be that fall saison, which has got that hint, that Flanders. It's going to be the Flanders.
Awesome.
That's something special.
And then maybe they can blend it too.
Maybe they can blend it. So not a total disaster, but definitely an interesting learning lesson.
Would you ever brew a stout with Munich malt again, I guess is a question I have for you.
You know, one of my favorite oatmeal stouts was from a brewery up in Manchester, New Hampshire called Millie's Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that brewed that I talked to, he actually had Munich in his thing. And it's always in the back of my mind. I always remember his oatmeal stout with Munich in it and thought, maybe I should be putting Munich in my thing. You know what? I like Munich malt. I love like Munich Dunkel when you put like 60%, 80% Munich and a little bit of Pilsner. I like that character, but I'm not sure I'm digging it here.
Got it.
I think it's just, maybe if I backed off. It's only 3 pounds, but
3 pounds is enough.
But it's definitely enough. I don't remember. I should calculate the percentage, but it's, I don't know. Maybe it would be fine with a crystal malt. Again, you could brew like 20 beers.
Again,
sub and whatever.
20 nights
1 gallon
one gallon batches.
We're going to have to do a video just on 1 gallon batch brewing.
Yeah.
Make people salivate over. It's great for experimentation. You're the master of the 1
I
gallon
try.
batch.
I mean, I think that I try to do as much as I can to learn more about hops, and that's the way I do it. And it's easy, and it's quicker than, say, a 5 gallon batch. I can basically wrap it up in a night. You know, start it at 6 o'clock and be done by 10. Yeah. You know, and that's cleanup too. That's everything. Ready to go. Boom.
Nice.
All right. That's it.
Great.
So,
thanks for your opinions on this.
You're welcome. I will always drink your beer and give you my opinion. That's for sure. All right. Please like this if you like it. If not, you know, don't like it. Don't. You know, that kind of thing. But subscribe to our channel. Comment below. If you know more about stouts than we do, please let us know what your thoughts are. For John and Mike, brew-shoots.com. Brew on.
Experiment.
Yeah.